Simply, Bill, it has been bedlam at Championship Plaza in Newark all night, and I don't think when the number one pick was announced, Dano, that the name Jack Hughes was a surprise to the thousands here in downtown Newark tonight.
I don't think so. Obviously, there was some debate with the way Kaapo Kakko played in Finland, certainly in the playoffs in his Finnish league, as well as the World Championships. But make no mistake, I'd said it for a month. I was pretty sure it was going to be Jack Hughes. That's just listening from people a lot smarter than me that follow these guys on a daily basis throughout the season, as well as talking to Dan McKinnon and Paul Castron, who are so instrumental in the pick for the New Jersey Devils, and they love this kid. The fans, I think, are going to love him too.
This is new territory for the Devils. During the championship years, and you were part of all three of those championship teams, the Devils never had a top 10 pick for a span of 15 years, now selecting number one for the second time in 3 seasons. What does this do to energize the franchise?
Well, just look behind you. They're pretty pumped up, certainly anticipating the first pick. And yes, Jack Hughes, that was the consensus from the fans as well. But now, if you look forward, you've got Jack Hughes, you've got Nico Hischier, Pavel Zacha, only 21, still developing, the veteran, and Travis Zajac. That looks pretty strong down the middle. You build down the middle. I know Jack Hughes is going to have to develop, and Nico's just starting to come into his own. But boy, oh boy, in a year or two here, it looks pretty strong for the New Jersey Devils down the middle of the ice.
It's not often that the two teams with the top 2 picks are looking at good years simultaneously. You played in that glory era of the 90s where Stanley Cup championships were separated by only 1 year, the Rangers in 94, the Devils in 95. What do you think this does for the dynamic of the rivalry now? Hughes 1, Kakko 2.
I think it's huge as far as we need that rivalry. I think it's so great for hockey in the metropolitan area, not only between Hughes and Kakko, and that's the pressure they're going to have to put up with on a nightly basis. I think these two guys can handle it. Certainly Jack Hughes, if you saw his interview, he's been ready for this his whole life. But that kind of sparks the rivalry, and again, both teams kind of at the same stage of retooling and trying to build toward a bright future with some good young players. They both got real good young players at the top. Rivalries, to me, are so important. It's dipped a little bit between the Rangers and Devils. I think it's going to be right back to where it was 2012 when they met in the Eastern Conference Final.
We know that this number one pick would be the main course of the weekend. Now we're all trying to see whether or not Ray Shero has a real tasty side dish that he can serve up, because in his pantry, Dano, are 3 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks, 6 picks between 1 and 80. He could be very active even in the next 24 hours.
I would assume Ray Shero is working the phones diligently to try to add some NHL veteran-type guys, whether it's on defense, whether it's a winger or two, with possibly some of those picks, packaging prospects, whatever that may be. But I think they understand now, getting the number 1 overall pick, Jack Hughes, you want to still stay patient. But yeah, you want to fast track it a little bit here and maybe add a couple of pieces that you think, now that your team's going to be healthy, your goaltending situation looks a lot brighter than it did the first 40 games of last year, that why not us? We can be a playoff team again. We were the year before. Look at the St. Louis Blues. It gives every fan base hope. Last place January 3rd to winning the Cup. That is how tight the National Hockey League is. The competitive balance is remarkable. Just get in. That's the hard part. So I would expect Ray to be somewhat active and something work out here via trade.
You don't play the games on paper, Bill, but suddenly strength down the middle is something that the Devils have. Nico Hischier, the veteran Travis Zajac, Pavel Zacha, and now welcome Jack Hughes to the fold in New Jersey.